Hello everybody, my name is Coastrex, and today we are going to talk about Falcon's Flight. Now this ride just opened today. That feels so surreal saying that this ride just officially open. This ride just looks absolutely amazing. Right here, the video I'm showing you is the opening ceremony, which just happened tonight. This ride looks absolutely sick. Everybody's talking about it, and I thought, well, why don't I talk about it? My thoughts and opinions. And overall, this ride just looks amazing. Like, this ride just looks absolutely stunning. The white track looks perfect, even though they have to because it's, in the Middle East and it's so tall. It just looks perfect. The trains look amazing. I think I've ridden Pantheon, and those restraints look very similar. And I really like what they did for this ride. It looks absolutely amazing. Looks like it's a lot of good ejector airtime moments, a lot of really, really good whip, and that giant 500-foot camelback looks absolutely amazing. This is the world's first Exocoaster, technically. It's kind of a cheat code because it uses the cliff, and so it's basically cheating. So people kind of say, oh, well, it's not necessarily an Exocoaster because it's using the cliff. Well, I still think it's an Exocoaster, personally. But it just looks overall like an awesome experience. Now, sadly, Kingda Ka closed. It would be the second tallest roller coaster, but it died before it was able to claim the second spot. So now Top Thrill 2, technically now, takes the number 2 spot. But this ride just looks absolutely amazing. And when I go over to Six Flags Qiddiya one day, hopefully, well, who knows, maybe I'll go over there one day, I will definitely have to get over there. Now, when I remember when the first promotional video came out, it did not look good. People were like, this looks like a joke. What is this? This looks like it was made in Planet Coaster. Like, it looks absolutely like trash. And then when people were like, this isn't real. But when it started construction, people were like, oh, this is real. And then, in 2023, after the IAAPA Expo, when they showed off the trains, they give us a really, really good video. And people were like, okay, yeah, now this looks a lot more realistic. This looks real. And so I just feel so weird that it is open. Like, I can't believe it is, because for the longest time I was just like, oh yeah, it's construction, yeah. I'm like, never think this ride's actually gonna open, and we actually have the tallest, fastest, longest roller coaster in the world. And kudos to Intamin and Six Flags Qiddiya for pulling this off, because I bet you, like, any other manufacturer, like, heck nah, we're not building a 600-foot coaster, but Intamin did. Intamin is one of those manufacturers where you'll tell them what you want, and they'll do it. You'll say, I want a coaster that's 1,000 feet in 1 mile plot of land. Here you go. And they'll be like, okay, we made up a 1,000-foot coaster in a mile-long plot of land. And so it's just like, okay, they'll do anything. They're up for any challenge. And I definitely have to give them respect for pulling this off. And yeah, I think the ride just looks amazing. And I remember when the first promotional images came out, people were like, what is that ride in the background? It just looks huge. Little did we know that was going to be the tallest, fastest, and longest roller coaster in the world. All those records taken from Kingda Ka, or now Top Thrill 2, Formula Rosa, and Steel Dragon 2000, all in completely different countries. Now we have it in one country. Wow. I just cannot believe that this ride is actually a thing now. Like, now we can officially say that this ride is open. I just cannot believe that. This just feels so surreal. I just cannot believe it. Like, how do we come to this point where it's just like people were saying back in the 80s, like, oh yeah, 200 feet, that's so tall. Now we're saying 600 feet, that's the tallest. It's just so crazy to think that now we have a 600-foot coaster, which is now an Exocoaster. They just skipped the Terra coaster line and just went straight to Exa. And I remember when people were like, oh, what are they going to call it for, like, what are they going to call it as, like, a name for the actual height? And then they came up with Exa. I'm like, okay, I'm down for it. It's different. And I just remember being, like, looking at the trains and being like, I still cannot imagine this ride being a thing. I remember when all the guys were like, oh, well, like, we're so excited that this is officially a thing. People were just kind of like, maybe it won't open. Who knows? Maybe it'll just fall through like all the other Saudi Arabia projects. But no, it's happening. And I still feel so weird to say Falcon's Flight is officially open. I just cannot believe it. This ride, just overall, now I'm just going to tell you what I think of the layout. It looks like it has some really good airtime in the front half, which is basically like a kind of like Conda in a way. I've never ridden Conda, but it looks like Conda. Where it takes like a twist, it goes up an LSM lift, goes for a twisted drop, then it goes into a few airtime hills, bunny hills, outer banks, and then it hits the, what do you call that? Hits the launch. And then it launches up the cliff and takes a little turn and it goes, meanders around the off top of the cliff wall. Not on the cliff wall, on top of the cliff. And then then you hit over the drop. Oh, it's almost like a dive coaster in a way, where it kind of like hurls you over, kind of like holds you over a little bit, and then lets you sit there. People are kind of like, oh well, it might just kill the airtime, but it doesn't matter. I think it just builds the anticipation. Then you sit there, and then it drops you, which I think sounds insane, because it'll be like, oh my gosh, we're about to drop 600 feet, and then you go down, then you go through this little section of straight track. And then you go up the most signature element of the ride, which is basically a giant camelback. That element looks absolutely insane. I still cannot believe that element. I remember seeing construction images of them building that big element. It still feels so surreal to say that it's finished. And so you go over that. It looks like you have a lot of speed over there. Tor Ryan actually says that it's almost too much speed. So they kind of had to add permanent brakes there so that when you go too fast, it just kind of slows you down. But it still looks like there's a lot of speed going over there. And maybe a little bit of floater up there. Who knows, maybe. Then you drop 500 feet. I cannot imagine what that element must feel like. It must feel like dropping forever. This ride, it just looks absolutely amazing. And then you do a lot of turns, and they have to kind of keep it drawn out because of the high G-forces. If it's too tight, then it'll kind of like, then you might get hurt, or you might, like, die, probably, because of the high G-forces. So they have to draw these elements out. Few airtime pops, probably, and then you hit the most signature ending part of the ride, which is basically a giant, drawn-out airtime hill over the ending, or over the, over the entrance, and then you hit the brake run. There you go. Falcon's Flight. Yeah, it looks absolutely amazing. I cannot wait for this ride, too. I cannot wait for myself to go over to Six Flags Qiddiya to ride it one day. And I just say super, super excited that this ride is officially a thing. Now I have to wait for reviews. You know, that's always my favorite part of waiting for a new coaster is the reviews. Like, what do people think? So then when I go over there, I can make my own opinion. So I'm very excited to hear what people have to say about it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. R.I.P. Kingda Ka. We'll always miss Kingda Ka and its tallest coaster medallion, I guess I'll call it. Well, its tallest coaster achievement when it was a thing, but we'll always miss that ride. But now we have the new Kingda Ka, Falcon's Flight. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. Like and subscribe to support the channel. I enjoy making videos. This is actually my first largest video of me talking about roller coasters. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. Share the video if you really think people should know about this ride. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you.